Welcome to Punch TV. This month, we'll see the launch of the much-anticipated cinema event, Batman vs. Superman. In their honor, we dedicate the entire episode to these two blockbuster superheroes. Later in the program, you will visit a Superfans Batman collection with Tony the Collector, and we will get the inside scoop from industry legend and artist Tom Grummett. But first, the men, the myths, the legends, Batman and Superman are here. Today in our studio, we are privileged to host the two greatest superheroes who have ever graced the pages of DC comic books. The debate's been going on for the past 75 years, and it will go on and on. Who is truly number one? Today, each hero will make his case, transcending ego, humility, and all the qualities that we know that you both possess. In classic debate form, tell us in 2 minutes why you are the greatest hero of all. You will hear a ding at the 30-second remaining mark, and you'll hear another ding when your time is up and your statement must end. Superman, you won the villain toss, so you will make your argument first. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, take it away, Soups.
All right, I'm going to use my 2 minutes to do the top 10 reasons why Superman is the best superhero. Number 10, I'm a household name. Everybody knows who Superman is. Number 9, I'm a people person. I believe in humanity. Number 8, I know what it's like to be an outsider. I've lost my home world, my parents, I'm the only person left for my planet. I'm not going to get angsty about it. I'm going to spend my time making the world a better place. Which leads me to number 7, anyone can be a Superman. Superman is the symbol for the hero in all of us. We can all use our talents and gifts to make the world a better place. That's the truth that I believe. You don't need superpowers to be a hero. Number 6, there's been a lot of songs that are written about me. REM, 3 Doors Down, Crash Test Dummies, I'm out there. Number 5, check out this costume. It's classic. I invented the ripping the shirt open to reveal the symbol. If you ever tied a towel around your neck and ran around pretending to be a superhero, that was because of me. Number 4, I don't need a sidekick. Number 3, I'm in comic books, animated cartoons, TV, and movies. Think of Superman the movie. It changed the way we think about superhero films. Superman 2, one of the best, and people are still excited about these movies. Dawn of Justice. Oh, speaking of movies, think about the theme song. Da, 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 da. Run it through your head, you're gonna feel awesome. And the number 1 reason that Superman is the best hero of all time, the big red S. It's the symbol, it's an iconic symbol. It's instantly recognizable. When bad guys see it, they know they're in trouble. It stands for the House of L, and it stands for hope. We don't need a lot of angst in this world. What we need is hope.
Wow, and exactly 2 minutes, so you have an excellent sense of timing.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Superman. We will now turn the floor over to the Dark Knight in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go.
Well, the top 10 reasons why Superman is the greatest superhero of all time is actually top 10 reasons why he fails at being a great superhero. They're all of the things he said are unfortunately his faults, not his greatness. And angst is the only way that you can get anything done in this world. I'm the greatest superhero of all time, and classically we know that Batman always beats Superman in the end, because Batman prepares for everything. Given enough time, Batman can destroy and defeat anyone. While Superman is out fighting crime and saving kitties from trees, Batman is preparing the Batcave for the world's end. So that's why Batman is possibly the greatest superhero of all time. And I'm not really all that worried about the House of L or the symbol of hope. Plus, I'm Batman.
Anything else you want to add?
No.
Okay, succinct. Well, thank you, gentlemen. You both make salient points. Today, we'll let the spirit of the magic 8-ball decide the winner. 8-ball, is Superman the winner? Hello? It's Commissioner Gordon. You fellas are needed. Well, I guess we'll leave it up to you viewers to decide who's the winner. Comment on our Facebook page or on our Twitter on who you think gained the upper hand. Think it over while we bring you these important messages. With community enhancement as their goal, the Justice League of Saskatoon aims to bring smiles to the faces of young and old. Do you think you have what it takes to join this prestigious crew? The JLS is waiting for you. Visit their Facebook page, JLS Justice League of Saskatoon, for more information on how you can make our city a better place to be. Then grab your cape and fly. Welcome back. Tony and I are super pumped to have our next guest with us in the studio. He is, with no hyperbole, one of the greatest comic book artists working today. He's known for his work throughout the canons of both Marvel and DC, with work on Batman, Robin, Avengers Academy, New Titans, and much more. But his biggest imprint is probably on the Superman world. During his run on Adventures of Superman, Tom was one of the architects of the greatest selling storyline DC has ever made, the death of Superman. Welcome to Punch.
Nice to be here, Jody.
We're really excited. Best-selling graphic novel ever.
Yeah, I think the comics sold somewhere in the neighborhood of 7 million copies.
Yeah, it's a few.
The first month or so. Something like that. I have no idea what sort of press run we're looking at now.
So legend has it that you and the other creators of the different Superman lines were working in a closed room, no windows, sweating it out, trying to come up with the next story, which was going to be the wedding of Superman. And then 2 days in, they come and kibosh it and says, like, no, you got to come up with something new. Tell us the story of how the death of Superman plotline actually came to be.
Well, I had just joined the team as the regular penciler on Adventures of Superman about 6 months before. And it was my first trip to New York for what we called the Super Summit, where we would all get together in a room, writers, artists, inkers, even the colorist would show up, to work up a year's worth of Superman stories throughout all the titles. The idea is we were doing a Superman comic a week, where they just had different titles. So it's my first Super Summit, and prior to that summit, the storyline we were leading up to was Clark and Lois were going to get married. So we were planning a wedding. And we had, the guys had spent a year setting this all up. And suddenly we got a phone call from the publisher to say, the wedding's off. There's this new TV show ABC's going to be doing called Lois and Clark, and we don't want any confusion. And so we were annoyed, somewhat, and because we had nothing now. We spent 2 days, and we have no plan B. I think it was Dan Jurgens threw his pencil in the air at one point and just said, well, let's just kill him then. And we all laughed. And then we started talking about it. Just what would the impact be if, you know, Superman died in the course of doing what he does? How would Lois react? How would Ma and Pa Kent react? How would Metropolis react, and Jimmy Olsen, and so on and so forth? What would the ramifications be? And Carlin wisely stopped us at a certain point and said, okay, before we go any further, let's check upstairs. So he phoned up to the publisher and said, we're going to kill him. And she said, okay.
Awesome.
And it was like,
there was like a lot of almost like stardom for you and the Bullpen after that happened. The group became very, very famous in the comic industry as the people that killed Superman.
Well, we didn't think we were doing anything really spectacular. All we were doing was trying to tell a story. But what we discovered was just how much Superman meant to the world. I mean, there were pickets outside of DC's offices. I had a few death threats left on my answering machine.
Wow, that's crazy.
That is
was
super
crazy.
crazy. That's crazy.
It was a slow news day when the press release came out, and the world just seemed to latch onto this idea that we were taking Superman away forever.
Yeah.
And we weren't doing that.
So there was an out all the time then. There was always.
Oh no,
like,
we were bringing him back.
Yeah, yeah, that's
There
right.
was no doubt.
Yeah, there was no doubt. But to a lot of people's thoughts, though, that was the end. Like even the news reports were like, "He's done. This is the end of Superman. He's never coming back." Yeah,
that was
so,
pretty much it. And like I say, we at that point discovered just how important
Yeah.
the character was to the entire world.
Now, you were there when you brought him back. You were on the issue that made him return to the world,
Yes.
back to the bosom.
Yes.
Okay, the mullet, the hair. Was that your choice, or was that a
That was something-
directed choice?
That was, I think, Jurgens first did a sketch of it because, you know, he'd been out of commission and in some kind of weird Kryptonian coma or something. And of course, his hair would have grown, so he drew him with the long hair. And we passed the sketch around the office
Yeah.
amongst the secretaries at DC, and they all loved it. So we went with it for a while.
All right, short on top, party in the back.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
Awesome.
That is awesome. Well, you definitely changed comics. I mean, this run, this storyline with the iconic Superman, it changed everything. And I think that a lot more storylines in both like independent comics and also the big publishers too are take more risks now as a result of this storyline. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. I think what it did was it woke up the world to what that comics actually still existed in a big way. There were people from 6 to 60 buying these things and getting into the story. And I go to conventions and stuff, and people walk up to me and they say, "I remember reading that when I was 12 years old." And aside from just feeling old, I think it's a major thing. I think it was a story that got to people.
That's awesome. Thank you for talking to us about Superman and the impact of this book.
One of my favorite stories, without a doubt. So.
All right.
Thank you.
We will be right back.
Punch TV is brought to you in part by Amazing Stories, providing Saskatoon with comics, games, toys, graphic novels, t-shirts, and more for over 22 years. Online at AmazingStoriesComics.com, in person on 8th Street in Saskatoon.
My name is Tony Antelik. Welcome to The Collector. Brad Dawson, you have got the biggest Batman collection I have ever seen.
Well, I've been collecting Batman since I was a kid. Like when I was 8 or 9, that's how long it's been.
When did you start buying larger items? When did you go from small to large?
It was kind of weird. I bought the first one. I think it was the Batman Begins. And then after that, just looking online, and I actually entered a contest, and I won quite a few of them.
Wow, how do you win stuff online?
It was weird. It was just a company, small company, and they were just giving away Hot Toys, and I ended up winning quite a few of them.
Oh wow! So which ones did you win then? It's like from the Batman Begins stuff?
Yeah, Batman Begins and some of the Dark Knight Rises.
So I see a lot of stuff that are actually stuff that are only exclusives through Sideshow. I noticed there that you have some of that. So are you buying mostly exclusives? Is that what you're going for? Or?
I buy whatever looks cool and whatever just kind of catches my fancy.
Some of the things you have here are pretty fantastic. Do you know a little bit about the Bane?
Yeah, it's they use most authentic fabrics as they can. So the leather is a leather type fabric. You know, the cotton is cotton. They study stills of the movie pre-production and get as close as they can to what the actor wears on the movie set. So it's pretty detailed. And you can button up the coat and you can do up the zippers.
This product here I've actually never seen before.
That is by a company called Enter Bay. They didn't do very many Batman things. They did that and the Joker.
The bike is fascinating. Did that come as a 2-pack then?
No, it was the bike was separate from the Batman.
Yeah, so separate. So when you get stuff like that in, are you worried about receiving it as far as like shipping and stuff goes, or?
Yeah, you're always worried about it being damaged. As good as Canada Post is, there's always damage to stuff.
Are you buy mostly through Sideshow itself then, or do you buy things just through other retailers as well, like eBay and such too?
Yes, yeah, all retailers, yeah. Toy Squared in Ontario, I bought a few pieces from them, and then through Sideshow.
This is a large scale. Is this also a Sideshow product?
Yeah, it's a hot toy. It's a quarter scale. They only did a few different characters in the quarter scale, Batman being one of the most popular ones.
Like you said before, the difference between the facials and the Sideshow stuff and the hot toy stuff, which is huge for collectors. There's a huge price difference as well. Are the price difference, is that because they're doing a lot of scanning, facial scannings and stuff like that as well?
It is all artists doing sculpting with clay.
Wow.
They spend hours looking at pictures and sculpting and resculpting and then get to a final product.
I noticed that you have stuff that you've actually built yourself. I like the fact that when you have stuff and you have the dioramas, it really kind of shapes up what you have.
The Batman Begins closet, I built that myself.
Built the closet?
Yeah. Yeah, the cases were actually watch cases. I thought it had the industrial look that Batman Begins had. So
those are watch cases?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That I didn't know. And that Joker, I've seen a Joker before, but I didn't realize it came with such a cool diorama. So that's pretty awesome. So you like your Batman, but I noticed down here on the bottom, you have a bit of Superman. And there's also some other Superman stuff around here as well. But you definitely don't have as much Superman as Batman.
He's just not as cool as Batman.
What?
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's not Batman.
He's not that cool. Batman is cool. All your superpowers, is this all of them that came out?
That is the complete set, the complete
set.
American set.
Wow. Okay, was there extra ones that came in Canada? Or?
No, in Mexico they actually did a Riddler, and they also did a Batman in the Black outfit from the '89 movie. And those are huge money. You can't find those.
And then I see you still have some of the packaged, the cards and so forth as well. Is this stuff you had when you were a kid, or is this stuff you bought?
No, those are stuff that I've purchased.
So basically, 99% of the stuff that you have is stuff that you bought after you were a kid then. That's the best part about collecting, because when you're a kid, you just can't get it.
Well, you have money when you're an adult, so yeah.
Yeah, oh, credit. You have credit when you're an adult. Yeah. I don't even know where this Hall of Justice thing came from. Is it just something that came from in a store?
That I got online. I got lucky to get that a few years ago. It's an unopened box from 1984 that has the Hall of Justice playset in it.
I will give you $2 for this right now.
I will decline.
A lot of people these days I talk to have budgets for collecting. Do you have a budget, or is it free reign?
It is not free range. I have a wife and 2 kids, so it's, if I want something, it's putting small amounts of cash aways, and buy whenever I can.
I also have that same thing with my house. Thank you very much for letting us see your stuff today. Like, this is the stuff that most men would envy having. This is amazing. Very nice collection. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming.
Awesome. Thank you.
With community enhancement as their goal, the Justice League of Saskatoon aims to bring smiles to the faces of young and old. Do you think you have what it takes to join this prestigious crew? The JLS is waiting for you. Visit their Facebook page, JLS Justice League of Saskatoon, for more information on how you can make our city a better place to be. Then grab your cape and fly. Well, today's episode is all centered around Batman and Superman because, of course, of the upcoming movie. So today we have expert Craig to talk about some of his favorite Batman and Superman movies. There are so many of them, so you gotta narrow it down.
It's
What are
a
your
big list, and in fact, I went with like not necessarily movies, but television, everything really. And there's a lot of bad stuff out there. I'm really not a fan of Gotham, the series that's on now. There's the old 1938 racist Batman show that's like sometimes, and you know, a lot of Superman stuff over the years too, from Lois and Clark to you know, Smallville and stuff like that. But so top 5, I'll whip through them real quick.
Okay.
My number 5 is the DC animated universe.
So great.
Yeah, so like, I mean, and that's Batman and Superman, really, but they're doing a great job of, they're really accomplishing what the DC film universe so far has not yet been able to do, with maybe the exception of the Chris Nolan Batman movies. But like, they're taking a wide scope. I mean, even a Batman story, they figured out how to utilize Robin and all this stuff, which the movies just can't really do. So I think they're doing just some amazing work.
Incredible. Agreed.
Number 4, Batman, the TV series, the old 1960s TV series. I mean, it's obviously a different vision of Batman than we kind of have now. It's a lot more campy and stuff, but the thing that is really funny is that we think of Batman as this guy that hides in the shadows on the rooftops, but on the show, he's like you'd see him in the supermarket wearing his Batman outfit, basically. He'll pick up the phone and be like, "Operator, this is Batman," and it's like, okay, you know, he wouldn't do that now. But
a little more suspension of disbelief.
Yeah, exactly. Like, well, even the episode where he does the Batusi, he's like in a bar with people, just like leaning on the bar, talking up some lady, but dressed as Batman while everybody else is dressed normally. So, number 3, I'm gonna go with The Dark Knight, the Christopher Nolan. Oddly enough, I'm not a huge fan of this whole franchise, even though some of it is really brilliant. But I think like Dark Knight Rises is. It's good, but it has some weaker moments in it. Batman Begins I do like, but it takes a while to get to Batman, and the origin story thing always kind of bothers me. So I think The Dark Knight is right when it's in the pocket, and you've got you know, Heath Ledger doing a great Joker, and you know, you've got Batman through the whole movie. So I think that one takes the cake for that. Number 2, Superman and Superman 2, the Christopher Reeve, you know, late 70s, early 80s movies. I think Superman 2 is really the best one, really, and probably still holds up as one of the best comic book movies of all time.
Yes.
I mean, the tagline for these movies was, "You'll believe a man can fly," and this was the first time they had really pulled that off. You know, screenplay and story by Mario Puzo from The Godfather, so they do take on that epic feel that Superman should have.
Totally, and Gene Hackman is Lex Luthor.
Gene Hackman is Lex Luthor, and even Christopher Reeve is Superman. You know, debatable. His Clark Kent is debatable, but you know, he's great. Oh, and of course I should mention too the music. I mean, who can forget that
swelling,
iconic Superman
powerful.
Music, right? And my number 1, and again, this isn't necessarily the best. This is my favorite from where I've been in my life and my experiences. But Tim Burton's Batman. You know, I was in high school at the time, and it was such a huge thing and a big marketing push and just a cultural phenomenon at the time. But what you had was, you know, guys like me that grew up reading the comic books or watching that campy 60s TV show, and so suddenly this was the first time you'd really seen him in that sort of, you know, that darker vision of Batman, and just the production work on the movie and everything like that, and casting Michael Keaton as sort of the anti-big muscular Batman guy, like a real guy, and making it more of about the psychology of Batman and that kind of thing. And then, of course, Jack Nicholson as the Joker, who probably is still my favorite Joker, I'd have to say, really. I mean, you could argue about Cesar Romero with his mustache painted over, but I'd say Jack Nicholson. So,
and Prince on the soundtrack.
And Prince on the soundtrack, that's right, too. And, well, and even the orchestral stuff is great on that soundtrack.
It is great. Okay, last 30 seconds. What's your take on the Batman versus Superman movie?
I'm very trepidatious. I don't like to diss something before I get a chance to see it. I don't think that's fair to the movie. And I was not part of the internet tearing apart Ben Affleck. I think he could do a great job as Batman. But I am very afraid of this movie. I was not a fan, really, of Man of Steel. And they look like they're doubling down on that with Batman versus Superman, and I hope that's not the case. I hope they can really make this something, because I do want to enjoy it, and I have hope for it. I don't want to be a cynical fan that's just like, this stinks. I want to have fun with it, but I'm not sure so far. We'll see.
Okay, we will take a wait-and-see attitude. If you have an opinion, if you've seen it already, please post your opinions on our Twitter feed or on our Facebook page. We would love to hear from you. And yeah, there's a ton in the iconography to choose from, but thank you for your picks today.
Cheers.
All right, we'll be right back.
Keep busting.
Punch TV is brought to you in part by Amazing Stories, providing Saskatoon with comics, games, toys, graphic novels, t-shirts, and more for over 22 years. Online at AmazingStoriesComics.com, in person on 8th Street in Saskatoon.
Well, the cases have been made and all the opinions shared. Now it's your turn to tell us who you think reigns supreme. Is it the Dark Knight or the Man of Steel? Who won our debate today? The first 10 people to share their views with us on Twitter or Facebook will get a special poster. And did you know that you can watch this episode and all our other ones online? You can revisit all the great moments on Punch TV on the Shaw Saskatoon YouTube channel. Thank you to Superman, Batman, Tom Grummett, Brad Dawson, Hank and Craig, and Tony for making this a very special episode of Punch TV. And of course, thanks to you for watching. Keep up your dukes. Hello? It's Commissioner Gordon. He just took out life insurance.